Greetings, chess fans! Today I'll be showing you a puzzle composed by a Dominican priest, and the objective here is white to move and win. So if you want to try it out for yourself, you can pause the video right now, and I'm going to show the solution. So the first move here for white is to play knight to c1, threatening knight to b3 with a fork on the king and the rook. So how does black deal with this? Well, his best move is to play rook to b5, and the next what black here is threatening is to go rook to b8, for example, rook c8, and pick up the pawn. And there's no way you're winning that position. So here, white prevents this. He plays c7, and now the idea is that you cannot stop this pawn with the rook directly. If you play rook to c5, we would have knight b3 with the fork. Next move, you would pick up the rook and promote. So this doesn't work. And you could try going rook b8, but the problem is white here takes with the bishop. If you were to take here with, and promote to a queen, this would be a stalemate, unfortunately, because the queen takes away the squares on the b file, and the knight takes away the a2 square. And the same thing happens if you promote to a rook. So, but we would promote to a bishop, and white would be winning. So the only move in this position for black to not lose immediately is to play rook to d5 check. And now if you move your king as white, if you move it to the c file, now rook c5 comes with a check, and you no longer have the option of going knight to b3. So the next move would you would lose this pawn on c7, and you cannot win that position. And if you move your king to the e file somewhere, let's say e2, black would give a check on e5. You would have to move your king. It doesn't really matter where. And black would simply go back to e8, go to c8, followed by taking the pawn on c7, and you cannot win that position. So after rook d5, the only move that allows white any winning chances is the move knight to d3. And in this position, the knight takes away the the c5 square, sorry, and the pawn takes away the d8 square. So it seems like the rook uh, cannot stop this pawn. So the only move here for black is to take the knight on d3, have rook to d3 with a check. If you move your king to the e file somewhere, the rook would come to c3 and take the c7 pawn away, and the same happens if you go to c3. You would have rook c3 and followed by taking the pawn on c7. So the only move here for white is to play king to c2, taking away the c3 square away from the rook, and also our pawn is taking away the d8 square. So it seems hopeless. The position seems hopeless here for black because the rook cannot stop the pawn. But black comes up with a very clever trick. He plays rook to d4. So what's the idea of this move? The idea is if you promote to a queen and think, oh, I'm going to win this game very easily, black says, you're not going to do that, and he plays rook to c4. And this is a very, very clever move because if you don't take the rook, you lose your queen, so you're losing. And you have to take the rook, and when you take it, the queen comes to the c4 square, and unfortunately for you, this is a stalemate. The queen captures the a2 square, and the king captures the b2 and b1 squares. So you cannot promote to a queen here, but white outdoes black with the next move. He promotes to a rook. So now if you try to do the same trick, it doesn't work because the rook doesn't take away the a2 square. So you would have to put your king to a2, and rook to a4 would be a checkmate for white. So after the promotion to a rook, as white you're threatening mate on the a file. So black has to stop this, and the only way he can do that is to put his rook on a file. And now comes the showstopper, the hidden killer. We have king to b3, and this threatens two things. You're threatening to take the rook, but you're also threatening this checkmate. So yeah, black has nothing to do here. If he stops the checkmate, you take his rook away, and if he moves his rook, you give him a checkmate. So yeah, that's it. I hope you really enjoyed this puzzle, and until next time.